Well, good evening or good morning, wherever you are in the world. Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Matt Dorsey, aka the CHOQTOR, also known as CHOQ's, resident nutrition and herb fanatic. How's everybody doing today? What's going on? You guys keeping it real? How's your week going so far? See, we've got some familiars here already. Chocolala, you seem to be one of our most consistent regulars recently, so good for you on that. Chalk Gamer, Candle Shake, that's a new name. Very cool. Okay. Can't wait for this man is brilliant. Oh, well, thank you very much, Hugo. It's very kind of you to say. Yeah. You know what? My lighting's a bit intense. Let me just turn this down really fast. Give me one moment, please. Got this light over here, and it's a bit extreme right now. I think we just need to tone it down. Let's that's a bit more chill. Artificial lighting is one of those necessary evils. I used to wear those those glasses, those blue blocking glasses back in the day, and those are really nice actually. Maybe I'll start wearing those again on here just because I am looking at the screen while I'm talking to you guys, and artificial screens. Wow, tell you what, a lot of people when I talk to clients, sometimes they want to do video chat, but I personally I'm like, I already stare at screens long enough. I can't do it. It's got to be telephone or nothing, because one of the things that I would recommend looking into if you're looking to minimize all the different toxicities in your life is looking at the frequencies of light that are coming in through your eyes. That's a big one that some of us forget about. It is very important though. And of course, we've got all these screens. We're ensconced in screens. I've got two screens right here. I've got another screen on the cell phone that I'm using as a camera right now. And it just gets a tad bit ridiculous. So, anything you can do to minimize your screen time is a good thing, I believe. Yeah. All right. Let's see. What are you guys saying here in the chat? Do you want to make some chocolate candies? Cool. Nice. You're going to use our cacao beans for that, I assume. That's awesome. Guys, I just made. I wanted to get chalked up before the video today, and I was feeling okay, but I just kind of wanted to get hyped up a little bit. So I made something amazingly delicious. Check this out. So I took, in my blender, I took 2 handfuls of the CHOQ heirloom organic cacao beans. I took a few dates, some honey, and then I added to that oat straw, also known as the Venus sativa extract, chaga, lion's mane, and a ridiculous amount of cordyceps, and obviously just some water. And a little bit of ginger as well, some ginger extract that I had on hand. And I blended that up until it was actually a little bit warm. So I used my, I have a Blendtec high-powered 3 horsepower blender. I blended that up until it was actually warm. And I drank that down. And it was nice and thick because I didn't add too much water. And man, that combo is phenomenal. Got to tell you. So yeah, have to publish some recipes for you guys to use those cacao beans with. All right, let's see what else we got here. Chocolala is really Laura Berry. I'm your biggest fan. Oh, nice. Well, awesome, Laura. Very cool. Chalk Gamer says you need to make a video about the glasses. Yeah, I sure could. That might be a fun special to do for our next special. Speaking of which, actually, I would like to let y'all know, for those of you guys who don't know, we do actually do some specials on here sometimes. And the 2 we've done so far, my favorite is the first one. It's called Stay Human. And that's a really cool one that I did a while back. I'll link to it right here. In case you haven't seen Stay Human, definitely check it out. It is phenomenal. If you're interested in transhumanism and artificial intelligence, neuroweaponology, all the weird stuff going on with technology, that is a real tour de force. That one's doing pretty well. Looks like it's got almost 1,500 views. That's pretty cool. And then, of course, there was obviously the dark side of keto one that I did last Friday. That one is, honestly, it's a little drier, a little more technical, but definitely a good one to check out. Let me see if I can find that one for you guys. And yeah, start sending me questions so we can get the ball rolling on that here in just a moment. Let's see. Let me just link to that one real quick, like here. Yeah. And if you want to know everything there is to know about the limitations of keto, if you want to know about the experimental evidence that suggests that in actuality, a low fat diet is superior to a low carb diet in terms of weight loss, things like that, then check out that second link, The Dark Side of Keto. That's a cool one. So Noah says the long sleeve CHOQ shirts are comfortable. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, oat straw is fantastic. I'm actually playing with oat straw as a possibility for a formula that I'm making right now for CHOQ. I really love oat straw. It's phenomenal stuff. So that's a big one. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, hello, Senior Prepper. Nice to see you here. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah. That smoothie. Oh man. There's something about. So actually, interestingly enough, oat straw is fairly tasty. And goes really well with cacao. So yeah. Senior Prepper asks, what do you eat for breakfast? Well, to be honest, a lot of the time I just snack on fruits and nuts for breakfast. Most mornings will have a smoothie. My favorite smoothie ingredients, I almost always use frozen mango, but I also use wild blueberries, frozen wild blueberries. I use a lot of hemp seeds, honey, sometimes dates. Sometimes spinach, and sometimes cilantro. And then I usually just use water for the liquid instead of milk or nut milk. Just a better way to do it, I think. Nut milk, I think, is a big waste of money a lot of the time. But if you like milk for stuff, that's fine, you know. But a lot of those nut milks are not quite as healthy as you might think they are. There can be weird stuff in them sometimes, preservatives, things like that. So I personally don't use nut milks, but you know, some of them are much better than others, though. So, but yeah, little pro tip there. If you do use nut milk, then make sure to be careful with really careful with reading the ingredients list and try to avoid ones that have a lot of really random weird stuff in them. They'll also use kind of not the highest quality form of calcium in there. Sometimes they'll add calcium, you know, to nut milks to make them more competitive with regular milk. So just something to be on the lookout for. All right. What do you think about drinking water from the rain? Oh, Hugo, great question. I would strongly suggest that you never do that. Actually, drinking rainwater is not a great idea. You know, if you drank rainwater a few hundred years ago, maybe even 100 years ago, probably fine. Rainwater cannot be relied upon to be 100% free of chemicals. There's weird stuff going on in the skies. There's also potential for, you know, according to some accounts, we still have fallout from nuclear testing and nuclear bombs that have been detonated even decades ago. I personally would never drink rainwater unless it was heavily filtered and heavily chemically analyzed and analyzed also for radiation. So yes, I would certainly avoid rainwater personally, unless it's an emergency and that's all you've got, then just go for it. We try to filter it. If you did have to drink rainwater, I would certainly run it through some sort of carbon filter first. It is not as safe as people might make it out to be. I think there's ample reason to avoid drinking rainwater for sure. Great question, though. It's a really cool one. What else we got here? When is Stay Human episode 2 coming out? I love the first one. Evan, yes. Glad you liked it. You know, sometime in the next couple months, probably. I'm trying to figure out what I want the next special to be. I'm thinking that I might want to make the next special based primarily on hormones and chemicals. So I'm going to base it off of, actually, might as well go ahead and plug the blog right now while we're at it. There's one of my favorite blogs that I wrote. It's called Worse Living Through Chemistry. And in case you guys haven't read that, well, the whole name is Hormones Under Fire, Worse Living Through Chemistry. But or Hormones Under Attack, rather. But if you haven't read it yet, then I strongly suggest you do. I want to do the next 2-hour deep dive for this channel on that. So the general topic will be the effect that chemicals are having on the human endocrine system. It is crazy, crazy. There's another little really kind of a mini blog I did where I talked very briefly about the fertility crisis and as it relates to chemicals like PFAs. Let me see if I can find that one for you guys really fast. Do you guys remember, has anyone ever heard of Erin Brockovich? Remember Erin Brockovich? There was a movie made about her, I can't remember actually what the compound was that she had discovered in the movie, that there was this company that was basically poisoning everybody. But she is now sounding the alarm on these chemicals called PFAs, as well as PCBs, things like that, and also phthalates, and did a little mini blog right there on that. But yeah, I'm thinking that's probably going to be the next big special there. And yeah, Erin Brockovich movie. By the way, I did, if you're interested in PFAs, that's that non-stick stuff that it comes from DuPont is the primary manufacturer, but other companies also manufacture it. PFASs are a broad category of compounds, but there's a main one that there's actually a whole movie written about it. And so here's a blog on PFAs I did. And the blog actually has a link, or it actually has the movie embedded inside the blog. It's called The Devil We Know. You can watch the entire thing for free on YouTube. And it actually has Mark Ruffalo in it. Hopefully I got his name right. Yeah, Mark Ruffalo. And as the lawyer in the movie who was litigating DuPont. And yeah, it's a feature film, and it's just all about the real story, based on the true story of DuPont and this PFAS compound called C8. Interestingly enough, I think I mentioned this before. If you look at the chemical composition of C8, or I think this is PFOS is what it's called. It's mostly fluorine. So almost every single atom in here is a fluorine atom. So that's interesting, especially considering that, they tend to disrupt hormones. And of course, thyroid is part of that. If you look at the periodic table of elements, you look at this one category that's way off to the left. It's the second row from the left on your periodic table. That's called the halogen category. And these columns, they tend to be almost like octaves within the, like within music, right? And interestingly enough, fluorine is in the same column, the halogen column, as iodine, and so is chlorine and bromine. And so it's inferred that the reason that compounds that contain chlorine, bromine, and fluorine, certain ones, not all of them, but certain ones where they're more prominently featured, tends to negatively affect thyroid, is because your thyroid takes up iodine, and therefore these compounds may be similar enough where the thyroid is going to take them up instead of iodine. They're going to replace iodine and disrupt the thyroid. But anyway, yeah, definitely think that'll be a fun one. It'll be mildly depressing, but it'll be a fun one. And obviously, I'll try to have as many solutions in there as possible for how to protect yourself against this onslaught of chemicals, this chemical soup. I mean, the sheer number of different new chemicals that we have synthesized in the last 50 to 100 years is staggering. I think I had the statistic in one of these blogs here. Let's see if I can find it. It's just crazy how many would you guys guess? How many new chemicals have we figured out how to synthesize? Okay, here we go. Since the 1940s, tens of millions of unique chemical compounds have been either synthesized or isolated from natural sources by humans. Probably many of them have been synthesized. So tens of millions. Now, do you really think that we have had the time and the resources to do extensive safety research on tens of millions of unique chemical compounds? No, we have not. Not at all. By the way, in that Hormones Under Fire blog, this is kind of entertaining and crazy. The very first video that I put in there, that's a YouTube video that's embedded in the blog. It's actually footage of the United States government spraying DDT on children in 1947. In fact, here, I'll just link it to you guys right now. Check this out. This is nuts. So for those of y'all, perhaps senior prepper or some others who are a bit more senior, perhaps some of y'all remember a long time ago during the 40s when it was considered completely safe to eat DDT, to have it sprayed on you like it was some sort of a vitamin almost, right? And yeah, pretty crazy. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make a post on YouTube about it right now. U.S. government spraying DDT on children in 1947. Crazy, right? So I'm really multitasking here. I'm actually posting on YouTube while I'm doing a YouTube live. I'm officially a multitasker. All right, let's see if we got any other questions from you guys. Going off on some fun tangents today. All right. Oh, let's see. Did I miss this one? I'm getting a good stash of cacao beans. Gifts this Christmas. Oh, awesome. Chocolala. Very cool. That's great. Yeah, the cacao beans do make a great Christmas present. We are, by the way, working on a smaller package of cacao beans. It's only a 4-ounce. That'll be more of just like, you know, something you can just casually bring with you in your backpack or your purse or something. And also won't be such a commitment of buying this giant bag. So we are going to have that. So be on the lookout for that. What is your favorite form of movement / exercise? Evan says, my favorite is actually dancing. And the reason is because when you're dancing and the music is good and you're enjoying yourself, you completely forget that you're exercising, right? So I think dancing is the ultimate in terms of benefiting not only your body, but also mind and spirit. And of course, there's lots of other stuff like that too, martial arts, sports, but if you can find something that is a sport that actually gives you good exercise, does cardio, things like that for you, and as well as builds your muscles that you enjoy and you forget that you're doing it because, that you're not doing it simply for the sake of exercise. So that's why, for example, things like lifting weights or getting on the treadmill, a lot of people are not into because it's not really that fun. Maybe for some people it's fun, but for most people it's not. But, so I would just say, find your version of dancing. For me, it's dancing, obviously, if the music's good. Yeah, some people love martial arts, different kinds of sports. Sports, obviously, is something. If you like to play sports, that's probably one of the best forms because it's something that you would do regardless of whether or not it's good exercise. It's something that you do actually that's inherently fun. So find a form of exercise that's inherently fun, and preferably low impact, though. Obviously, high impact sports may not be the best for everyone, especially if you have sensitive joints and things like that, or injuries or whatever. Let's see here. What else we got? Fruits are key for breakfast, says Evan. Yes, Evan, as you know, especially if you watched my keto presentation, you know that I'm a big fan of fruit. I think it's one of the most healing things you can put in your body. One of the reasons, honestly, that I'm not a big fan of low carb diets because you can't really eat fruit on a low carb diet hardly at all. Let's see here. What else we got? Evan mentioned there's a lot of added gums and nut milks. Yes, absolutely. Gums, preservatives. Sometimes there could be weird sweeteners in some of those. So you got to watch out. I would say also in general with like non-dairy, like dairy alternative type products, whether it's a nut milk or whether it's, what do you want to call it? Like a fake butter or a fake cheese. Well, I don't want to call it fake, but you know what I mean? It's kind of fake. A cheese alternative, butter alternative, sour cream alternative, whatever it is. Some of them, the ones that you find at relatively more mainstream grocery stores, like your H-E-B or your Randall's, they're going to tend to be the really, really junky ones that will have canola oil and weird preservatives and just nasty stuff in them. So, because non-dairy is so common now, you do find junky companies that don't produce quality products making non-dairy type stuff. And they have been for a while, actually, but they're getting more common. So you do, for the most part, you really do need to go to like a Sprouts, Natural Grocers, or a Whole Foods to find quality cheese and butter and milk alternatives. In my experience, the vast majority of the ones that you find at mainstream grocery stores are kind of crappy, to be frank. Danny says, hello, Dr. Matt. What are your thoughts on taking an NAD supplement? Yeah, NAD is really cool. mitochondrial stuff is one of my areas of extreme interest. Really love the mitochondrial stuff. It's one of the reasons that I love Shilajit, because Shilajit has great properties for helping mitochondrial function. So it looks like the autofocus isn't working today. Maybe I didn't wipe the lenses off enough. But yeah, anyway. And NAD can be great. I will say, see, who was it? Asked Danny. Check out the deep dive on Shilajit video. It's our #1 video on CHOQ. Deep dive on Shilajit. And let me just get you a link to that really fast here. It's called Shilajit Science Deep Dive with Dr. Dorsey. That one's got over 3,000 views. That's pretty cool. Big fan of that. But anyway, here's the link. And there is actually a section where Dr. Sani on there, who is the CEO of the company that produces our the Shilajit, the patented Shilajit that we use for our products, as well as for CHOQ Daily, talking about comparing one of the active compounds in Shilajit with NAD and how per milligram it actually is significantly more effective. Actually, I don't know if it was on a per milligram basis, so I'll take that back. I don't know that for sure. But anyway, that is called urolithin A. There's a timestamp on there, 17 minutes and 17 seconds. Urolithin A is superior to nicotinamide riboside. So nicotinamide riboside is one of the more the trendy, big, patented versions of NAD that's coming out right now, or it's an NAD precursor. So in that world where people are into mitochondria and biohacking and all that, it's a really big deal. But urolithin A, which naturally occurs in Shilajit and hardly anything else that we can find, is superior in terms of its effects on mitochondrial function. So I prefer Shilajit to NAD personally. Yes. Also, quick reminder, if anyone is watching and enjoying this and hasn't hit the like button yet, if you wouldn't mind just hitting that really fast, it certainly does help our channel quite a bit. Always just try to, in a hopefully not too annoying way, give everyone that gentle reminder to just hit the like button, because each one does help, and we certainly do appreciate it. And sorry for having to say that over and over again, but it is how you play the game. All right, what else we got here? How many milligrams do you recommend taking NAC? So NAC, NAC, a very low dose of NAC would be like 500 or 600 milligrams, whereas a very robust dose of NAC would be 4,000. So I'll just give you a range, 500 to 4,000, somewhere in there. NAC is if someone has never taken it, they might want to start a little bit lower and work their way up, but if you need acute support, right, in the moment where you have something major happening and you need some extra support, then you might want to go a little harder on the NAC there. Now, Mr. Rubinski asks, is lactose-free milk less inflammatory than regular? There are many reasons that milk can cause problems from an inflammatory standpoint. The lactose is only part of it. So perhaps it is less, but a lot of people think that they can take lactase enzymes or drink lactose-free milk and they can sort of just get away with it. And even if it produces fewer digestive system effects, it is still going to fuel chronic inflammation in the body. So still not recommended. Thoughts on oat milk if you make it yourself? I've never made my own oat milk chocolala, so I really don't know what the process is like. But in general, if you're making your own anything milk, it's probably going to be cheaper and also more pure than what you would buy in a store. So yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Sesame seed milk. Ooh, I have had that. No, that stuff's delicious. Yeah, sesame seeds are great. Sesame seeds are good for hormones. They also have, what are they rich in? Sesame seeds are rich in, is it selenium? There was some kind of trace mineral that sesame seeds were really high in. Let me see if I can find it while I'm talking to you guys. Sesame seeds, nutrition data. Let's see if I can multitask here. If I can find this while actually talking to you guys and not losing you, I'll be pretty impressed. 34 micrograms per 100 grams selenium. That's not that great. If anyone else can find it, I seem to recall, if memory serves, that there is some kind of trace mineral or something that was very high in sesame seeds, but perhaps I was wrong. But yeah, if anyone can find it, let me know. All right, what else we got? I hear it's the best milk, especially for horchata. Oh, horchata is amazing. That stuff is great. Yeah, I remember I used to get that at the Mexican restaurant I went to in Houston a long time ago. Horchata. It's like that cinnamony milk drink. That stuff is fantastic. Let's see. I think dairy and plant-based diets is worth a talk. Sure, Cecily. Yeah, I mean, as you guys know, I'm honest about my current diet. I'm not vegan. I'm lean toward pescatarianism, but I do have some non-fish meats sometimes as well. But I have been vegan. I was vegan for around 2 years, give or take, somewhere around there. And so I do have, a fair amount of experience being vegan. And sure, yeah, we could do a talk on that at some point. You guys just asking your questions on plant-based diets. Sure. I do have a naturopathic doctor friend and have actually talked about, she's been a vegan for a long time. She's a vegan naturopath. And she and I are going to do a live video sometime as well, I think. So that should be fun. And I'm sure we'll be able to answer all your questions. The video idea that we had, she and I, was the topic was something to the extent of like how to, dispelling myths about veganism. For example, everyone thinks that if you go vegan, that you immediately become like you just waste away and you get too skinny and you lose all your muscle and things like that. And it's just like there's a lot of just ridiculous myths around veganism. So we might do a video on trying to dispel some of those myths. Yeah. Let's see here. Evan says, I wonder what else is being pushed that hasn't had extensive research. That's a great question, Evan. It's really funny. Actually, you know what? Speaking of that, I did want to actually, on the topic that I'm not allowed to talk about, if you would like to see something really phenomenal, there is a guy named Dr. Peter McCullough, not Mercola, but Dr. Peter McCullough. And this right here that I just pasted in the chat is him talking to biologist Dr. Brett Weinstein on his podcast, the Dark Horse podcast. This is a phenomenal in-depth interview. Just came out 2 days ago. And Dr. McCullough is, if you are interested in this particular topic relating to the V word and also the C word, those two words that tend to get flagged online, that's a great interview. And I would highly suggest that you subscribe to Dr. Weinstein's channel and also follow everything that Peter McCullough does, because he is a wealth of information. This guy's a cardiologist as well as internal medicine doctor. He is one of the most widely published people in his field. He's been a doctor for 40 years. He has hundreds of papers. And when he talks, this guy literally has like a freaking photographic memory. I mean, he looks like he's in his 70s. He must be if he's been a doctor for 40 years. He's in his 70s. This guy is so sharp, and he just rattles off study after study after study. And each study, he'll say the university it came from. He'll say the name of the head researcher. He'll cite specific numbers, and he'll just rattle off like 13 of these studies in a row. McCullough is the man. He is a powerhouse. This guy is ridiculous. So if you want to know on scientific level, you want to educate yourself, Dr. Peter McCullough, I'll just spell his name right here. Follow that guy. He is phenomenal. Yeah. So again, I can't talk specifics because I am in YouTube land, but I can refer you guys to some great folks, and definitely check out that one and check out anything else that McCullough has done. He is absolutely amazing. Yeah, that's all I will say on that topic for now. Also, in general, though, the Dark Horse podcast is phenomenal. It's two people, a husband and wife, who are both PhD biologists, Heather Hying and Brett Weinstein, or Weinstein, I think it's pronounced. And they are really on point. They talk about a wide variety of different things, but really love those guys. They have great style and are highly articulate. So, all right. CHOQ Gamer says, I miss Connecting Consciousness on Instagram. By the way, I don't know if you guys know, but we are back on Instagram. Our Instagram is chalked up, so it's at CHOQDUP. So you can find us on Instagram there now. We went ahead and just purchased an account that already existed. So we'll be a little bit more careful this time, obviously, than we were last time, so we don't get the axe again. All right. Danny B, are you on team Pfizer or Moderna? Oh boy, that's a great question. Let's just go with neither. Let's go with neither. That's hilarious. Pfizer all the way, bro. Let's see what else we got here. Evan says dancing is the greatest. Can you explain what's going on with everything that's happening everywhere? What you think is the next? Okay, Noah. Yes, unfortunately, Noah. That's again a topic I can't discuss in detail here, but perhaps I will through another channel like Telegram at some point. All right, what else we got here? Which product of CHOQ is good for sleeping? We don't really have a sleep supplement per se, but what I will say is, out of the ones we do have, ashwagandha is multi-purpose. It does a bunch of different stuff, but that autofocus just does not want to work today. Sorry about that. Anyway, it's too blurry. You can't see it, but it says ashwagandha. So ashwagandha, it does help to support healthy stress hormones, specifically cortisol. There's great research on it for that purpose, and therefore it can help with sleep. So ashwagandha, I would say, would be the best one we have for that purpose. And you don't have to take it at night, but if you want to support sleep, taking it during the evening is a good idea. Yeah. Let's see here. What I think about black rice. Danny B, honestly, I have not really looked into black rice. So I can't say I know about the differences between it and other forms of rice nutritionally. I don't have an educated opinion on that. Noah says, understanding veganism is insanely amazing. Set to be consistent. Sure, yeah. Something about red meat, some mineral vitamins, something you can only get in red meat. You know anything about that? Sam, I have never heard. I don't believe that there is any vitamin or mineral that you can only get in red meat. That actually would be pretty much impossible. However, it certainly is possible that, maybe you're thinking about heme iron. Heme iron you can only find, it's a molecular form of iron you can only find in animal tissue. It's a more active form, and certainly like there are certain vitamins or minerals that in a sense, they're the same vitamin because they both serve that purpose, but there's a molecular form that's more potent in meat. And one example is heme iron. But no, I don't believe that there is any vitamin or mineral you can only find in red meat. That doesn't really make any sense to me. Seems highly unlikely. Sam says, recommend Biology Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton. Absolutely, yes. I'm definitely familiar with Dr. Lipton's work, and he's fantastic. Yeah. So Noah says, I think it's B12. So Noah, and B12 is not only found in red meat. You can certainly find it in other forms of meat as well. Here's the thing about B12. B12 is technically more of a pseudo vitamin if you are going by the strictest definition of the word vitamin. Theoretically, a vitamin by definition has to be something that is not manufactured in your body. And in fact, B12 is manufactured in your body. A while back, we concluded that it was a vitamin because there was no cellular machinery anywhere in any human cell to manufacture B12. But that's before we knew anything about the microbiome. And yes, the microbiome, the gut, the good bacteria in your gut can actually produce B12. Now, that doesn't seem to be happening very well for many of us, and it could have something to do with the way that we live. It could be that maybe a long time ago, our gut bacteria, microbiota, were better at producing B12 than they are right now. But yes, you can actually to some extent produce B12 in your gut, but most of us apparently do not produce very much of it. And yes, of course, you do need, you can't get B12 from plants. If you, there's also theories that where if you were eating plants right out of the ground unwashed, you might be getting some through the microbes on the plants. So there's also that. Yeah. This idea that only vegans are low in B12 is totally false. Tons and tons of people who eat plenty of meat are low on B12. So yeah, there's big differences in probably different people's abilities to create B12 in the microbiota and lots of other things. I personally think B12 is so essential that whether you eat meat or not is irrelevant. You just need to supplement. And preferably you want to supplement with a methylcobalamin, not a cyanocobalamin, which is what's in Action 2.0. We have 500 micrograms of methylcobalamin in here. And you also want to make sure that you are not, you're not taking the really junky ones like you get from the drugstore, the cyanocobalamin, with a bunch of other junk in there. Now, we are pretty far in, so let's go ahead and do some prizes really fast here. Let's go ahead and start prize number 1. Countdown, 1 minute. Timer has begun. Get your 2-digit number in sometime in the next 54 seconds here into the chat. If it is your first time watching this, this is how we do our giveaways. You give a 2-digit number in the chat, just 1 entry only, and then I randomly generate a number using this handy dandy random number generator. And whoever wins prize number 1 will just receive 1 of any CHOQ product. Oh, man, that smoothie was strong. I put a lot of cordyceps in there. Yeah, you guys are throwing some good questions today. Nice job with all these questions. This is great. It always makes things go by a lot more smoothly whenever we have a lot of questions. Whenever there's lulls and there's not as many questions, it gets a little bit harder and things go by, a little bit slower. So, okay. And we are done. And what is our randomly generated number? Okay, 20 is the number. So, let's see here. Who is closest to 20? Do I have anybody in the 20s? I have Daniel at 10. I have Eswana at 11. So Eswana is 9 away at 11. 13 away, Hugo. 13. Okay, so you are 7 away, Hugo. I believe then Hugo must be our winner. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Aloe. My apologies. Sorry about that. Aloe has 14. This is hard to do live sometimes. Yes, Aloe, you're correct. Leanne, unfortunately, your number came in after the timer. So Leanne, yours does not count, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Those are the rules. Whenever I hit done, that's the timer. So yes, Aloe Film Productions, you are the winner of prize number 1. Yes. Sorry, Leanne. Sorry about that. But yeah, you got to be quick and you got to get it in before the timer. Them's the rules, unfortunately. I almost said I don't make up the rules, but I literally did make up the rules, but I do have to follow them. Yeah. Anyway, yes. So Aloe Film Productions, email CHOQ@CHOQ.com, and then just tell them which free product you would like, and they will send it to you. Yeah. All right. So what do we got next? But we will be giving away prize number 2 in just a moment, so definitely stay tuned for that. Chocolala says Leanne's came in right before the done on mine. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. On my screen, I typed in done, and then Leanne's is after, so I can only go by my screen, not anyone else's. And Leanne's is after the timer. So sorry about that, Leanne. Better luck next time. But anyway, yeah. Everybody just make sure to get all your stuff in. It seems that perhaps it's showing differently, but I do assure you that on mine, Leanne's came in after it said done. So that's all I can go off of is just what's on my screen. So perhaps YouTube gave things in a slightly different order, but yeah. But anyway, just in the future, everybody, make sure you get your number in as quickly as possible. Because if you are within a couple seconds of the end, it might show that you came in after, and that is what is showing on my screen. But anyway, let's see what other questions we got here before we do our last prize and get out of here. And we will be back again tomorrow, of course, approximately the same time. What else we got here? Something about the allegory of the caves of Plato. That's interesting. I wonder, Resonant, what that's in reference to. What kind of water do you think is safe to drink? Hugo says. Well, that's a complex question, Hugo, but I would just say, like, if you're filtering your own water, get something like a Berkey and then add the fluoride filters or reverse osmosis, something like that. Obviously the ultimate for storing water is going to be something like a glass container. But if you do store in plastic, just know that the hard plastics are much less susceptible to leaching. And then, of course, temperature variation like hot and cold increases leaching. But obviously, plastic is not ideal. Yeah. One moment. Let me just hit a button over here on this thing. Okay. And what else we got here? Noah says, if you could only focus on getting one supplement at a time and starting out, what would you say is good for guys? Noah, I would say if you can, maybe if you have more specific things you're looking to achieve, maybe let us know. But in general, a really good bang for your buck and high potency men's supplement is the CHOQ Daily. So this one's pretty affordable, especially if you have a good coupon code. So I would just start off with the CHOQ Daily. That's a great place to start. Yeah. Evan says, I think you can find B12 in some mushrooms. Evan, to my knowledge, the molecular form of B12 that's in mushrooms is not going to be a bioavailable form. There are certain forms of pseudo B12 you find in non-animal sources. So I don't believe that that's going to be a real B12. People have said that spirulina has B12 in it before, but it's actually a form of pseudo B12. It's not the real deal. So that's something to know. All right, what else we got? Let's see here. What else do we have here? Which supplements can make you a savage beast mentally and attitude-wise? Mr. R, let me actually just tell you right now. For men, if you want to go full beast mode, I'm going to link right now to the Men's Vitality Stack Ultra. That's going to be the one. That is daily Tonka 100 at 200 milligrams a day, so 2 bottles per month. Shilajit, Action 2.0, and Ashwagandha. So yeah, if you want to access beast mode, do the Male Vitality Stack Ultra. That's the one you want, definitely. Yeah. And you know what? I just decided, hey, instead of doing prize number 2 giveaway, I'm just going to give it to Leanne. Since Leanne, you were so close, and there was that discrepancy there, just to be nice, let's just go ahead and give prize number 2 to Leanne because she was so close. So Leanne, by decree of the CHOQTOR, you are the official winner of prize number 2 today. So Leanne, prize number 2 is 1 bag of cacao beans and 1 CHOQ t-shirt. So Leanne, go ahead and just email CHOQ@CHOQ.com and tell them what kind of shirt you would like. You can pick the color as well as the size and the style on CHOQ.com. But no, Leanne, it's totally yours. I have decreed it. It is so. That is my final ruling. I feel good about that. And I think everybody else feels good about that too. That way you still get to win, So yeah, there we go. All right, guys, I'm about to get out of here because got some things going on, but hope you all have a fantastic evening. We will have another one of these tomorrow night around the same time approximately, as well as, of course, we'll be doing our double prize giveaway on Friday. So we'll have the extra long, intense one on Friday evening. And definitely stay tuned for that. Until then, much love. Thank you for all of your likes today and for subscribing and sharing all these videos. And I will see you all very soon. And yeah, of course, stay human.